Good morning, guys. It's Thursday, the 10th of May, and we're going to take a look at the DAX morning briefing and have a look at a few really interesting pieces of price action that have happened over the last couple of days. Try and see if we can start using some of the tools that are in the premium channels and what we've put in the courses to try and apply it to price action so we can use it for forecasting. Excuse me one second. Just had to mute the mic quickly there. Okay, so at the moment we're looking at a 250 tick chart for the DAX. This is CFD pricing, and we are looking at the 8th of May, so Tuesday. So let's have a look and see what we can find that's interesting, because of course this is all retrospective now. So first things first, I've got a little bit of price action here that looks interesting. It's almost an expanding pivot. What I mean by that is if you just draw a line across these two here, and then look at the bottoms and tops here, you'll see that they're starting to expand out. Not the perfect example, sure, but when you get towards the end of this area, what I find interesting is this particular little area. And I'll just draw an example of what that looks like to me. For those familiar, that particular bit of price action would be a zigzag, and often you'll find it's a balance point, and in the middle it's interesting. So what I wanted to do is to mark out the top and the bottom of this little balance point, or little zigzag, should I say. And I wanted to mark out this center point here, right there. Because what I wanted to do is to find out how significant or interesting that little spot might be if we drew a line through it. And so, for example, if we took a line from the pivot, so down here, and just take a line and just go straight through that area, similar to what a fork would do, basically. I don't know, just expand it out. And you see it's kind of going through that line here. Maybe I could make that a little bit more accurate there. And I like the way that it touches this area here. Excuse me. Kind of calls the bottom of this little area here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 or 5 touches on that. And then there's also a little mini zigzag in there as part of this kind of wider zigzag down. So that on its own there is quite an interesting little bit of price action. I'm talking about this little spot here. Okay, and I'll just turn that off. I'm talking about that little area in there now. If you can see it, if I turn the candles back on. So I liked how price action just kind of cut straight through the middle of that part there. Excuse me. And I wonder actually whether if we, look at that. If we just expand that line a little bit further, where does it get to? Well, it gets to that little spot there. How interesting that is, I don't know. It's just an observation at this stage, but I like how it caught that spike. Yep. Okay, so that's the first thing we've spotted. Let's go and just continue on and move around. And again, I'm always looking at that little spot in the middle of the zigzags if we find them. And okay, so yeah, I'm going to ignore the harmonic side of things for now, but we'll just move that forward. Okay, well, this little area here looks quite interesting. I'm just going to mark that whole zone out. There's a big, there is a zigzag right there as well. Look. I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about here. This one, that one, that one, and that one. Yeah, pretty clear to see, but I don't think it's particularly significant. You could maybe draw a line through the middle of it. Let's just do it for an example. Excuse me. Ha. Okay, well, that is a bit more interesting than I thought it would be. X marks the spot, I suppose. We've kind of reached pretty much the exact same spot as the other one, using this pivot down here, cutting through that little zigzag there, just sort of seeing where the line goes, really. Interesting, right? So that was a bit of an accident. What about the point I was trying to make here is just marking out that zone just in there. See this little coil that we've got? Well, we have an example of clearing the book. We talk about that in the course. So we've got this sort of clumping, this coiling just before it kind of washes both sides of it and then decides its direction once it's cleared everybody out. But again, you've got a zigzag in here. So we'll just do the same sort of thing and we'll just draw a line from the top through the middle. And we'd probably have to use, well, I mean, we could use this point here, I suppose. It's not particularly significant pivot. Maybe we should pull that back to the previous one. Let's just have a look what that looks like. That's pretty much the exact same spot anyway. And maybe we could just continue to expand that through and see where that ends up. And we'll just get that through the middle of the balance point here. I wonder how far we can kind of take this little bit. And if we just zoom in on that, look what it's pointed to again. How strange. The last ones we looked at were pointed at spike. And that one sort of seems to do the same thing. Yeah, I think I'm a bit distracted on that one. But it just goes to show you how interesting it can be, because, again, it sort of starts to capture the bottoms, and is a little bit supportive here. There's a bit of a wash of it there, a little bit of an area that was contained around here. Let's see how it reacted on the underside. Got a little bit of underside, and then it zoomed through, caught it again, and then there's a spike there. So, again, interesting. I wonder whether or not, if you just measure the distance between that top and the bottom, whether it falls through the center line of that area. And yes, it does. I mean, they create some very, very interesting center lines. So that's why I find these particular balance points interesting. All right, so what else have we got then? Let's just move that forward, and let's take a look at maybe something a little bit more recent, because using that little bit that we've just spotted there, we can probably take a fork from that zone. So I wonder where we would actually start there. Let's just have a little think on this one. Probably have to be that. So we're taking a fork from this pivot down here, and we're going to use those as the A, B, and C points. So let's just see how that looks. And maybe I'll just remove that center line for now, but you get the idea. Yeah. Excuse me, just to tidy it up a bit. Oh, wow. Okay, so what do we got here? So we've got an A line that cuts through price action a little bit here. The BC line is the most interesting part, because that itself is a center line that's kind of equal either side of that line as to what price action is doing. Give or take a few. And there's also a few other little bits. I'm slightly distracted here, but I'm going to mark these out for the moment, and I'll explain them afterwards. These little pockets. Oh, wrong way. Little pockets. Okay, so let's just take a look at the fork first of all. Maybe I'll just remove those three things. I'll put them back on in a moment. What's the redo function? Control and R. All right. So what I find interesting about this particular fork is that BC line was very, very good, but price, according to Andrews and his median line method or methodology, which is what this is based on, says there's an 80% chance of price reaching a median line if you've got a valid fork. And so in this particular case, price would start to make its move up to a median line, looks to turn around, finds some support on the lower median line parallel, has another go, finds some support again, has another go, finds some support twice more before off it goes, and look at that, touches the median line. So if you were going to trade this aggressively, you've got a few opportunities to do so. So for example, on this one here, on this touch of this lower median line parallel, if you get 3-to-1 minimum on this particular trade, you put your stop loss under there, you get long in here, and you aim towards the median line. In this case, I mean, that's just giving it a little bit of room, but it's 5.5-to-1. This particular example, you probably have to put your stop loss under here. You then look to go long up towards the median line. Doesn't quite give you the 3-to-1 that you need, so you'd probably not go for another one there unless you use a different stop loss. The next one, you'd be looking to probably take a long from this. You put a stop loss under here, take a long from there, aim up towards the median line, 4.28 on that one. And you've got another opportunity here. You could be even more aggressive, put stop loss there, get long in here, probably on that little spike, and aim up towards there, 5-to-1 on that one. So you've got 5.5, 2.6, which would be rejected, so we'll just bin that one off, 4.28, and a 5.21-to-1. So if you imagine these, doesn't mean anything at the moment, but if you apply percentages to these, okay, so if you were going to take a trade based on those numbers, and you were going to risk 1% of your account for the loss, for the 5.56% reward for the win, then you've technically added 5.5% to your account on that trade, 4.2% on that one, and whatever that one is, 5.2 on that one. So that's a pretty good day. But you'd have to be pretty aggressive on that one. You'd have to really put a lot of faith in your lines. So even if you only took one trade, it's still an opportunity. Get yourself more than 4 to 1, and it's worth a punt. And there's another sort of little area here. Now, it has kind of washed that zone. It's the wrong terminology, but it has kind of cut through the zone temporarily. But it has found a reaction, and you'll spot here we've got wide range bar, or a couple of them, more of a zoom there through back inside the low median line parallel. So these are interesting bits of price action that I find. All right, so I can't redraw those zones I wanted to show you back on the chart, so I'll just do them manually. But I was finding this interesting when you spot these fast moves. And I like how you see these wide range bars, and you'll see how price responds and reacts to them. Because normally when you leave these behind, it leaves behind a low volume zone or low volume area. And price will look to revisit those zones and then go through those zones. So for example, this one here looks to revisit it here, reacts off of it again here, and then cuts through it before using it as support there. And in this particular second zone, it looks to kind of touch it here, then it shoots through the zone here and then uses that zone as support. And this particular example here bounced off of that zone here, had a couple of goes at it before zooming through that zone and kind of loosely using it as support here. So I just find those interesting to mark out. All right, so that is looking through the previous few days price action, applying some of the tools on here. There's loads of other things we could have spotted, but they're the ones that I wanted to pay a bit more attention to. So let's just go and take a look in on a 20-minute chart. That's really all I need. That is a multi-pivot line, drawing the lines of the major swings. And that's all you need. You don't need any more than that. There's your trend. 5-year-old would tell you that. However, what could we use that information for? Well, if we want to be looking to get long on this market, would you want to be buying up here? No, I don't want to be buying up here. Where would I want to buy? Well, I'd use that multi-pivot line as a center line, and I'd look for a dip. How would I forecast a dip? I use an ACR line set. So Newton's third law of motion says for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So this is our action point up here, because that's as far away from the center line as price managed to get. And for opposite and equal reaction, you would imagine if it breaks that center line with force, it could end up somewhere down there. That's where I would want to get long. And that's it. Don't need any more than that. If there isn't an immediate opportunity to take a swing type trade on CFD for the DAX, then look for another market. But as far as scalping, well, I'm not going to share those ideas here. You'll need to come and find out a little bit more about some of the tools we use in the premium channel. All right, so that is what we're looking at the moment. As far as kind of gold trades, there's lots of Forex stuff happening, loads of gold trades that are out there. I've put a list of them on the website. Go and check that out if you want to find out more information. The links will be in the description below. If you're not already in the Telegram channel, then come and join that. The link is also going to be in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube at home. What are we? We're Thursday. So tomorrow we'll be back with another one of these, and we'll take a look at maybe some of the price action that happened today and some of the things that we could look for next week. If you want to know more about the course, then you're going to need to come and chat to me. Find me on Telegram. And yep, you got it. You'll find the link for my contact details in the description below. And for the guys that are premium gold, I am coding the solution for the BBRSI channel. So lots of things are going to be happening with that over the course of the weekend as well. I'm really excited to get that delivered. And I'll add continuous content to that course as well. It's probably going to take the best part of a month or so to get complete. But we've got quite a lot of material that's up there already. So make sure you are logged in to the website. Click on the login menu item and it will automatically direct you to where all the information is. All right, guys. Hope you have a great trading day. If you want any more information, let me know. Otherwise, make sure, please, you press the like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I hope you have a great trading day. Take care. See you later.